All you Americans who are for war, you don't think about this at all. I mean, it's in your face, it's in history books. You know, we Americans volunteer to be in an army in our leaders, our rulers' army. It's not ours. We didn't create the army. We, the people of America, did not create an army for America. Washington, D.C. wanted to create an army, need an army, so they could have wars. It wasn't for defense. And so they get the Americans to volunteer. Yes, I'll freely get up and peacefully volunteer to be in your army, in your military, to be your soldier, to do what you want. Not the American people. What Washington, D.C. wants. And then in these other countries, nobody wants to go to war. They don't have a bunch of sadists and sociopaths in their countries that actually want to be in an army. And then, but their leaders has bombs and stuff, you know, and force their people to be in their army. Force them against their will. So they're not like our country at all. Ain't none of them like this, where people can volunteer because they don't want war. They don't want to fight other people. They're not worried about gaining extra land and having power over other people. And so over there, when the two leaders, you know, because with ours, if the other one don't want to do what our leader wants, because it's a one-way street with our leader. You're not going to do what I want, like the cops. You're not going to answer my questions. You're not going to help me in my investigations. You're not going to do what I want. You're not going to work with me. I don't want to work with you and have an even playing field. You're going to do what I want. Oh, you don't want to do what I want? They did it to the Indians too. North America. They did that shit to the Indians too. And so what we're going to do is we're going to go to war with you. And then we'll tell our people lies and make them think, you know, you're doing this and that to your people and whatever, or want to go to war with America. But then we go to war. We're going over there to murder those people that don't want to go to war. They're forced to be in an army to have to defend that leader and their country. Forced. While ours are voluntarily, freely going over there to murder those people that don't want to shoot and kill other people. Don't want to be in a war. Because if it worked like you think when they say, this country wants to go to war with us, the people of that country don't like us, why are they forcing their people to be in their armies? If their people want to go to war with us and kill us. Why? Why do they need to force their people that want to come over here and kill us, harm us, so we got to go to war in their country and keep them over there, so that way, why would they need to force them to go to war if they want the people, the majority of the people in that country wants to come and go to war with us and murder us? We say we don't want war. We say we don't want people murdering people and forcing other people to do things against their will. But then we say, yes, let's go to war with them. And we already are taught and supposed to know, but we don't think about their side. We think about our side. Because we're taught to think about our side and not to look at their side. We got to look at the other side. We got to listen to the other side. We got to know what the other side wants, not what our side wants only. And then our side tells us what they're saying. And then with movie magic and AI can put out fake videos and, acting and make you think that these people over here or these people in this, what they're showing you in this video on TV is people over here saying this stuff. They can fake it. They got the technology today. Everything you see, they give you on here. Damn near is fake. And then, when everybody believes everything they put out is fake, they can throw the truth in front of your face 100%, and you wouldn't believe it because it come from them. So keep participating in this system. It don't matter who you are, Democrat, Republican, independent, don't matter, conservative. I mean, so freaking divided up in a bunch of different groups instead of two. Democrat, Republican. All right? Democrats, Republicans in this country. There's Democrats, Republicans, conservatives, liberals, libertarians, independents, outsiders. We're all divided. And they know it. If I can know it, if I can see it, figure it out, then they know it. And all they need is enough people in the country to vote. And then out of the majority of that majority that voted, which is the minority of the country, whoever is the majority out of that majority that voted, cut it down to 33%. That's the 33% out of everybody in this country says that's our president. Everybody in America, that's our president. Don't matter which side, 33%, that's our president. A minority of this country is voting in who is to be president. This is no majority rules who's president. It's a majority out of the voters that is a majority of the people in the country. 60%. And then out of that 60%, that's 100%. And then you get your, out of that. And then you got to get that out of everybody else. And there's your percentage of people who voted in someone to be really not your president, but your president. A president is of a corporation. Countries have kings and queens, dictators, leaders. They don't have presidents. Corporations, businesses has presidents. Executive branch. All those three branches. They're the branches of the right, not of a government. 28 USC 3002. United States definition. Federal corporation. No government in there in the definition. There's two words. Federal corporation. It's not government. You can't government. So we have no government. It's a corporation that's running all of this. Washington, D.C. is a corporation. And I put it in my posts. The name you think is your name you own, you don't own that name. That name your parents created and placed upon you, you don't own that name. It's not yours. You didn't create it. You don't have a name to give them. They can't give you a name. The government can't create a name for you and give it to you. They didn't create you. The only one who knows your actual name is God, the one who created us all. He's got our name. And our soul knows our name. But we're not born with the knowledge or the ability to know what our name is. So when we get old enough, can speak and say, "This is my name." And or we would be born with it on us somewhere. You know, oh, this is so and so. When you die, they don't have a name for you. Oh, this is so and so. You know, what God knows you by. So we don't have a name. So when they ask for your name, you say, "I don't have a name. I don't own a name. I don't have a name to give you. I don't own one. I haven't created one for me yet. And I don't even know if creating one for yourself would actually be seen as a name you own that's yours. I mean, you can create something, you know, and that you own that. If I created this, I own it. Or if I create my name, I should own it. But I guess I'll just go back in and I'll ask it. Well, if I create my own name, or a name for me, created by me, then will I own that name? Will it be my name? And if it says yes, then that's how you have a name. So when you give them a name that you want them to know you by, that's your name. They're not supposed to be able to have other abilities to be able to figure out who you are. When you say, "This is me," they're supposed to believe it. No matter if they, run that name and then you tell them your birthday. Well, I was told when I was born, but I don't know when I was born. I can tell you what I was told, but I don't know if that's my true birthday. It could be a fake one. But that's the one I was given. And your name will be true because it's the one you created. But your birth date, you don't know when you was born. You didn't look at the date on the calendar, the day you was born, and be able to know you was born, on that date, that certain time, and remember that all the way up until to the age you would start remembering things. Because not everybody remembers their young age or kid, baby age, stuff when they were a baby or any of that. I only remember certain things down to 4 or 5 years old. That's about it. I don't remember anything before any of that. But these wars, yeah, if you're against guns, you have to be against all guns. If you're against bombs, you have to be against all bombs. If you're against war, you have to be against all war. That means you have to be against having military and armies. If you're anti-war, you have to eliminate the government's ability to have a military and an army. Because this is the only reason why they do what they do is because you allow them to have what they have and do what they do. If the people rose up, did what they were supposed to, went through all of these Capitol buildings and kicked everybody out and changed the locks and tell them you're all fired because we, the people, control this whole government. We were taught. That's what we were taught. That's what we can do. So, we can rise up and we can overthrow all of this because they have no authority. They have no power without us bowing down and doing nothing but writing it on paper. The only time violence can commence when we rise up and go to them is if they fire their weapons first. And we got cameras. We'll know who fired first. There ain't gonna be no lying after this when it all settles and the dust settles. So we got cameras. We'll know who fired the first shot in this war. We can end this crap that's going on. We have the power. We don't even have to go up there with guns. We can just go up there with pitchforks and everything, and there's enough of us. They'll run out of ammo and everything, and then we'll attack them by our bare hands and kill them with our bare hands, our pitchforks, and everything else. You can have a good shield that can be bulletproof. You can wear bulletproof vests. You can get out, protect yourself enough. Because they can sell it to the public. The public has the right to have it. All part of arms. The Second Amendment. Shields. People had shields back then. Everybody, to have a shield. Not carry it on their back. But when it's needed, it's right there. They'll carry it in front of them. Blocks an arrow from ever hitting them in the front. If somebody's up front want to shoot you, the only place they can shoot you is in the head. Or in the leg to get you down. So, I'm just for ending all wars. And I'm for getting rid of all rulers, all leaders. And nobody can have an army. But the people as a whole. You come to our country, we'll all get together, we'll fight you. You happen to win, you win. It's part of life. But we're meant to have everything the military can have, so if another country wants to come here and invade us, we got the weaponry, the arms, to defend our country and our future people's ability to have this country we have from the invaders. Oh, we gotta take the guns. We gotta get everybody afraid of the guns. We got mass shooters and all this. Be afraid. Be paranoid. Have a new phobia. Yeah, we'll create new phobia for the people to have. Be afraid of guns. And y'all are so gullible. All y'all who fall for all this stuff they feed you. You lerp it up. You just gullibly believe it. Eat it up. It's good for you. We know it's good for you. We're your parents, your guardians, your caretakers. We'll take care of you. Government and states weren't created to be our caretakers. They weren't created to be our caretakers. Look it up. Do your research. They were not created to be our caretakers. To take care of the public by any means necessary, to keep people safe by any means necessary. Absolute blanket, there's not. Safety does not give them an absolute blanket of authority over the people completely. There is no absolute authority from government and state. The absolute authority is the people. The people has absolute political authority over the government and the states. That means the people working in them. Because they say they're the government and they're the state. When really they're not. They're just employees. They was working there. They can't live forever like a government's there for however long the people allow it to be. Which ain't forever. A government can't even last forever. If it can't last forever, it shouldn't exist. Government can't last forever, shouldn't exist. If this is the way they are, and then they eventually end the country, well, they end the government to end the country. Rome fell, government ended, fell, and it became Europe. That's who's ruling everything. Where the Vatican is. That's where the rulership is. Everybody's wondering where the rulership, who's ruling? The Vatican in Europe. Ex-Rome. If you look at the map of where Rome was and where the Vatican sits, and Rome's right here. Bam, bam, both says Rome. The Vatican came out of Rome. The KJV came out of Rome. Later, when they rewrote it, and then sent it over here. When they created the New Testament and then sent it over here and says, here's your Bible, God says this, you know. And everybody gullibilly believes it. Because another man says, this is what God says, here's God's book, this is the one you're to fucking read from, and and they all gullibilly believe it. Because they want to believe in something that's good to help them be good. You can be good if you just be good, like you do. You don't need something to help you be good. You know how to be good. You know what's wrong. You know that's not right. I don't want to do it. I don't feel right if I go to do it. If I try to go do it and all of a sudden I don't feel right, well, I'll be good and I won't do it. A lot of people knows how to be that way. Already know it's bad. They feel it, and they think it. Well, then don't do it, and you're good. And everybody else is bad, and they should have a bullet put in their head. And then we have heaven on earth. No bad people, no disrespectful people. Everybody's nice, everybody's respectful, everybody's loving, everybody helps each other when they can. In which everybody should be rich, because if everybody's living like that, everybody's rich, everybody's nice. There's no mean people running over other people, forcing them to lose their jobs, forcing them to, lose their homes, and all that. There's none of that going on. Everybody's working together and it's just peace. There's no hate, no torment, no nothing bad. Because that's the bad stuff people do. I'm going to torment this one. I'm going to torment that. I'm going to make them lose their house. I'm going to turn them into a criminal. Oh, obstruction. Oh, you're obstructing. You're resisting by not answering my questions. You're resisting, by not just getting out the car, even though you're being peaceful. Now I'm going to turn you into a felon. You can't own guns. You're a criminal now. You wasn't a criminal before. You didn't create any crime. But because you won't do what I want, and how I want, and when I want, and how fast I want, you're resisting. Therefore, I can turn you into a criminal. I can ruin your life. You can go into jail long enough, lose your house, lose your job. I don't care. I've got a job where I'm protected and I'll never lose my job. And if I do, I can get one somewhere else. It's doing the same thing. No, but you lose your job that day. There's a record on it. And you go to another job and they want you to the name of the place you worked at before and your boss's name and their phone number so they can find out how you did on your other job. And if you did certain things that this one won't like, then they won't hire you. Well, when a cop gets fired because he did bad things he wasn't supposed to do, and then he goes another one gets hired as a cop, trooper, sheriff, whatever. They'll call that one, and instead of that one telling them the truth, that one lies and says, "Oh, he was good and everything. He just wanted to move over there. He wants to be over there. Tell lies. And then he gets a job." That's how they work. They work together to make sure they have cops, because they know the majority of the people out there don't want to be cops because they're good people. Good people don't want to commit harm upon another. Even if it's in the name of justice, you can already see. They don't want to shoot them. They don't want to harm them. They don't want to beat them up and have them ready for when the cops show up, when they call them, so that way the criminal's caught right then and there. The people just get to run off. And then they got to find them later. And meanwhile, in between, they're committing other crimes. May even murder someone. Because the people can't do their duty as citizens of their country and protect their country, their people themselves from the criminals that's right there that the people can stop. And okay, we need cops. Well, call the cops. They come. They get the guy. Everybody says what happens. They take the guy away. There. Crime just stops. And then when other people who want to be criminals can see that, or are criminals, the public can get involved, and the public can stop us, and if necessary, it has to, can shoot and kill us. And then as a group, they tell the cops what happened, and the cops, okay, yeah, they all match what he did. He's gone off. He's dead. Well, this guy's dead because he did this. And he's demonized. And or she. A group of people, or more boys, or more girls, whatever. Because it's getting to where women are grouping up in gangs now, too. But, yeah. That's the way it all works. They protect themselves, and they don't care about us. The cops work for them as their security to protect them from us. And in order to make sure they are protected from us by when they hire some of us to be their security to protect them from us, they got to give them protection from us too. And give them the ability to have free reign to shoot people and kill people and hurt people and steal from people. And they don't go to jail or prison. But if they do fake overtime and they steal from their own, they go to jail. Oh, you don't do our own wrong, you will go to jail. They don't do us wrong, they will go to jail. So you act like one of them amongst us, and you steal from us or whatever, hurt one of us, you're going to go to jail or prison or death penalty. Just like they would do to one of us who's not a security for them. So they're still treated the same as us. It's just they're given more freedom so they can be security to protect them from us. And our servants is not supposed to be doing anything or creating anything that protects them from the people they're the servants of. Now, you can't hire someone to be a servant in your house, a maid or whatever, and then they get the ability to create certain codes and rules and whatever, and say you can't do this, or I'll get, or have you thrown in jail. And if you resist, even though I'm your servant, even if you resist, I'll kill you. Or my goons will kill you. I can do what I want. You're going to pay me this much. I can do whatever I want, and I'm going to control you. And you can't do this in your house while I'm in here. You can't do that in your house while I'm in here. You can't eat this. You can't eat that while I'm your so-called servant. And that's the way it works. That's how that whole system works. Instead of being our servants as they're supposed to be, they've become our authoritarian masters. Slave owners. Slaves couldn't do nothing. Slaves couldn't have anything without the permission of their master and the slave handlers. The master told the slave handlers, they can't have this or that. You find this or that in their home. They can go in their home. No warrant, no nothing. That's why they said that slavery ended in that Fourth Amendment. Got to have a warrant. So then they were turned into U.S. citizens. But the Bill of Rights was created for North America. It wasn't created for the United States, Washington, D.C. It was created for us. For them to obey and enforce. And the government has no right to enforce its laws in our country or in our states. If the governor says no and has a right to, I'm not enforcing your laws in our states. You can't force me. That's what the 10th Amendment was created for. To prevent the government from forcing any of the governors from enforcing their laws in Washington, D.C., in our states. They can't do that. But the governors are paid off to allow the government to enforce its laws in our states. But the people can stop it. We fire the governor, and we put in one that will stop allowing the government enforcing its laws in our country, in our state. We can do that. If I was governor, if I became governor of Texas, or some other people, I don't even have to be born in that state to be a governor of that state. Anybody in any state can hire me as a governor, and I'll fix it. You want crime to drop? Traffic crime is what rose crime. Crime went up because of traffic law. That's what you all don't understand. Crime went up because of traffic law. Look it up. Do your research. Crime was low until they created traffic law. And then they started prosecuting people like they're criminals. Like they created a victim when they didn't. And throwing them in jail or prison for money they get from the government. And the private owners of those private corporate jails and prisons, they get money from the government. And they get a lot. They get so much they can feed the prisoners well. More than well. But they feed them crap so they can pocket all that money. They feed them worse than what dog food is. So they can pocket all that money. And get rich. And stay rich. Where does that money come from when the government gives them that money? Taxation. On every little thing. Death tax, life tax, birth tax, all these taxes. Property tax. Taxes on, food in some states. Taxes on everything else. Taxes on your bank account. Taxes on the money you make. taxes on the money you make outside of their shit. They're going to make sure they're making money. And if you don't tell them that stuff and they somehow find out and they can prove it, you didn't report this amount and they didn't get their little bit, you get in trouble. That's a crooked tax. To me, that's just crooked. If it's not out of something, a job, you got your or their social security number they want attached to you, you know, involved with. If you bought something or if you sold something and made some money and your that social security number wasn't attached to it, well, they can't get no money out of that. Your social security is not attached to it. Oh, what money was you given? Who gave you money as a gift? Birthday gift or whatever. You're supposed to report that. Dollar. You're supposed to report that. Because it's a gift and they got to tax it. Gift tax. The only thing they can't tax is donations. So when you send people money in their Cash App or whatever, you say donation. IRS can't touch it. So you put it as a donation. You got a car from someone or for someone and you didn't pay for it and they want to know how much you paid for it, but you didn't pay for it. Instead of saying I'm giving it to them as a gift, you say I'm donating it to this person. It becomes a tax write-off, and you get money on it. You can just say what it's worth or any amount, you know, that you say you paid for it, or just what it's worth because you donate. And what it's worth, you get that money. There's research to be done on that part, but donations are a tax write-off. I don't know how it works, so I'm figuring out, you know, even if you didn't buy it, pay for it, and gifted it or donated it, since it was your property, they find out what it's worth as is, and you get that out of your, you know, to where you get money. All of it or some of it, half of it or some of it, something. You get money back. Free money. People don't understand how all this stuff works. Donations and taxes. With taxes, you learn how donations works against taxes. You can get out of a lot of stuff. You know, paying taxes on a lot of things outside of it. Just say it's a donation. They can't tax it. But that's how this whole system works. The police are their soldiers because they work for Washington, D.C. The states work for Washington, D.C. The governors work for Washington, D.C. The mayors work for Washington, D.C. You know, they don't work for the people. They do what they say. They don't do what we say unless enough of us rises up and it's enough to count. And they're not going to do what we want till enough of us rises up, goes to them, and says, look, this is what's going to happen. If you don't do this, we're going to fire you, kick you out, and change the locks and put somebody else in. We, the people, have that right. You all take care. Bye.